from your first single, Crush, to now to your Christmas album, which is actually being released today.
Yeah.
And so I have forgot to say, I've also read your autobiography, Chords of Strength, and I think you totally exemplify what we were looking for to interview somebody who has remained relevant, vibrant, strong, and true to their values. And I just want to thank you for that. It's an honor to be able to interview you.
Thank you.
Getting right down to it. In your autobiography, let's actually show a picture of it.
My memoir?
Your memoir.
It's quite an auto.
There it is. You said that your big breaks came into, you know what, give me a second. Your big breaks into media came through being on various TV shows, particularly American Idol. However, so many artists, especially those who appear on TV, they lose popularity after a time, just for whatever reason. But you managed to stay popular and relevant, and even became quite successful. I want to know, how did you manage to stay relevant and interesting to producers and to your fan base?
Well, I think it took a lot of learning. A lot of times I felt like I was getting left behind because this world moves pretty fast and it's constantly changing. Even when I entered into the entertainment industry, people were telling me as a 16, 17-year-old, like, oh, you know, things are so different now than they were even 5 years ago, you know, you can't do things like the way we used to, and I'm like, well, what way? I don't know. It's like all new to me, so, you know, just show me what the ropes are and I'll just go with it. And I mean, it's the same thing now. Like when I got back, when I went on my mission, got back, it's exactly what the people told me. Oh, it's so different now, you know. And it was like YouTube became so much bigger. There were people who were able, you know, record labels weren't needed as much anymore. Like Lindsey Sterling, the piano guys, were some great examples of not just Latter-day Saints, but just artists in general. Like those are people who would see and it's like, wow, those are some really successful people who have not needed the normal platform. Like YouTube became a new thing. Shay Carl and the Shaytards, like they're all teaching me these new things that I hadn't experienced because I grew up with a record label. And so it's kind of the same thing as when it was then, like just trying to keep up, always being open to the new resources given to you. Also understanding that it's like, well, this is the way to do it because it's constantly changing and progressing and using the new technologies and the new ways of communication to your advantage.
Thank you. Yeah, so you've had to adapt a lot, and you've had to just kind of, are you still learning as you go then, even now?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, every week it's like, well, here's this new way of trying things. And, new platforms, new ways of marketing, new ways of engaging with your audience. I mean, it seems like every month, you know, there's a new feature on Instagram. And so I'm always like, I don't like being in front of people, but at the same time, it's like, I know, people are always like, well, you picked the wrong career. Like, I know, but I don't know, it's just how it is. But, so, you know, one week it was like, oh, we have Instagram story now. It's like, how are we gonna use this? And now it's a very prominent feature. Now there's Instagram TV that you can use, and who knows what they'll have after that, but it's just like, well, I'll just try this and see how it goes. And I may not be the best at it, but sometimes people think it's even fun just to see you try because they feel like you're connecting with them. Like, oh, he's using what I use, and people like that you become more relatable and more personable.
And how much of that is, you've obviously got a great group of people you're working with. How much of that is your manager or whoever's saying, trying to try this, or how much of it is you saying, hey,
so when I was with the record label, they had like digital media person, a digital marketing person, and then like, I don't know, a bunch of things. And I'm now independent. And so I tried when I got back from my mission just to do it myself. I was like, well, I don't know exactly where I'm going now. I don't have like an album that's about to be released. I need to take some time. But I've found that it's a lot more useful and better, like it's a lot better use of my time, a lot more efficient. I hired a social media person to help me be more on top of releasing content, because I'm like, I don't want to be putting my face up all the time. Like maybe once a month. Like,
but it's such a lovely
I
face.
But something that I always took to heart was something Sherry Dew actually told me, who's, Desert Book, what is it?
CEO.
But yeah, I was gonna be like a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, but something that she said to me, she's like, here's my secret that I learned. She said, my secret is to surround yourself with people who are smarter than you. Mm-hmm. That's the key to being smart. And I think it's very true. So there may be things I'm not really good at, like social media and content and making my fans excited about stuff, but hiring someone who has that natural ability of just, oh, let's do this and do that, and I'm like, wow, I would never think of that in a million years, but and then hiring a team is so important, because it helps me worry more about writing my songs and singing them and getting prepared for my shows, and then releasing some content, but then I have a company that also makes sure that there are like ads on Facebook. They talk to Spotify, Apple Music, and try to get my content available to people and featured, because I don't really know how to do that. I don't have the connections either. They were mentioning before to socialize, get to know people. You're at a convention. These are really important things, because you're around people who are in the same business or the same interests as you. And a lot of the people I work with, whether it's in LA or Tennessee, Nashville, they'll be a producer or an engineer or a writer. And I'm like, how do you guys know each other? And they've had a lot of success. They've had success on the charts and sales, whatnot, listens now on Spotify. They'll be like, oh, we met at school. Or they'll be like, oh, just yesterday, he's like, oh, I've known him since I was 14 in junior high. We just were, just because they had similar interests. And so you just don't know where you'll meet the people who you can work with and team up with, who have traits and abilities that you don't have. It's been like total necessity for me, vital.
Yeah, and I will add too, I know that I am just published my first book, and I will agree with you, I don't quite have all the networking and resources that perhaps you have, being, a big name in the industry, but I will second what he said. Get to know people at this conference, network. Freelancer.com is also amazing, because yes, you can't do everything, and it's vital to get those people who do know what they're doing to help you out. You mentioned, you're not real comfortable being in front of people, and I do remember reading about that in your autobiography. That was a big hurdle for you to overcome, just being on that stage and sharing your voice. You love to sing, and that's why you pursue this. You love the power of music. But it was interesting to me, you didn't like your voice as a kid. And you may have said this in the autobiography, but I want to hear it again. How did you overcome that insecurity about, which it just blows my mind that you didn't like your voice, because it's such a lovely, angelic sound, as it's been described so frequently.
Thank you.
But I have no doubt that all of us have insecurities here that we have to overcome, even though we're also talented. So what were some of the things you did to overcome this insecurity?
Well, the earliest memory I have, it was my parents being able to support me and push me and believe that I had a talent. I didn't think I had one. They just would hear me singing in the backyard or singing in the basement, and that's how it became known that I was into singing. For me, it was just a hobby. I liked doing that. I liked how it made me feel. I didn't think of it more than that. It's just like, this feels really amazing. Like, when I get to sing a song, it's like, I'm just like a 9-year-old. I'll just be sitting there in the backyard, and I'll just look up. I'll look at the clouds, and I'll just feel inspired to just let something out, and it'd be a song or just music. And there wasn't really any other motive other than I felt like I was connecting to something greater than me. But it was my parents then saying, David, come, because my parents are also performers. Or, I mean, they're musicians, into music. My mom sings, and she used to dance. She's from Central America, so like salsa and stuff. And then my dad was a jazz musician, trumpet. And so they would sing at this restaurant in Layton, and they'd be like, David, come sing with us. No way, are you kidding me? The thought of being in front of people, I was like, no. But the way they motivated me was, they were like, well, David, if you go, you can get anything free on the menu. And for me, I was like, well, I love food. And so my love of food was stronger than my fear of being in front of people. So that was like a huge, I was like, okay, I'll do it if I can get that quesadilla. That's awesome. And so for me, I was like, oh, so I think it's important to reward yourself, you know. When you're doing things that are hard, you know, I think it's easy to be, in the society we're in, to be workaholics and to constantly like, there's always something else to do. There's always something to do. You can never stop. You can give yourself a 24-hour day without sleeping, and there'd still be something to do and more work to get done. You can run yourself down, and I think you can be very unhappy. And when there are hard things to do, you're just like, have I done enough? When you reward yourself with simple things, like as a 9-year-old, it was a quesadilla for me, but I was like, I earned this. Like, you know, it's not like the people who were listening in the restaurant were like, David, you did so great, here's a cake. They formed a quesadilla for me. It was just a reward I got for myself. And I was like, I did something hard. And it felt good. And not only that, but this was a motivator for me it was a motivator for me to do something that I wouldn't have done otherwise. If I didn't know that there was a quesadilla waiting for me afterwards. But I mean, there's one thing. I know there's several other things, but that's like my earliest memory of overcoming my fear in real life. And then when I would see people like get emotional after singing, I was 9 and 10. And I was like, why are they crying? Like, I guess they think it's cute that this little boy is singing a song. I don't know. But I think it had the biggest impact when I saw my grandpa, who he was always kind of tough. He didn't ever cry or anything. But he came to one of my performances, and I was singing the Sarah McLachlan song, Angel. And I just saw him just get all emotional. His face, it just softened. And it always left a huge impression in my mind and my memory, just thinking, why is Grandpa Archuleta like why is he like that? And I realized in that moment, maybe he's feeling what I feel. And it's, as I got older, it took years for me to finally understand it. Like maybe when I was like even on American Idol when I really started understanding that people were really feeling what I was feeling, that it was a connection that was being made. I was really able to share what I was experiencing. And so I think that was another motivator. I'm like, and so it wasn't ever about, oh, I really can sing well. Like I really am good at this. It was more like, wow, like the feeling that I loved even when I was a 9-year-old, and felt healing from just connecting to that. You know, really it's to God, you know, and He gives us gifts and we develop them and use them because it reveals Him. You know, they come from Him. So being able to connect to that and then have other people, almost like I'm opening this window when I get to sing, I get to look through it, but then I don't realize that the people who are there, like that I'm opening the window, they also get to see through it in a way, see a piece of heaven. And I think that was like the biggest motivator for me.
Yeah,